Hey, it's Sarah with Life with Training Wheels here for your August 25th through August 31st week in review and weekend forecast. So I am a little late. Clearly, I would like to do these ahead of time, and I am already working on the forecast for next week, so that I should be able to post that on Sunday, so keep your eyes out for that. I do enjoy looking at the astrology in reverse, though, because sometimes I think when you do it that way, it's easier to see how things actually manifested for you. So I would love to see your, comments about how this week did manifest for you. But let's go ahead and get into it. Venus has had a big week this week. And, she's been continuing this week with her strong year of transformation. Remember, at the beginning of the year, she went retrograde, which she only does about every 18 months or so. And typically, she only spends about a month in each sign, a little less, like 20 to 25 days, I think, is her normal cycle in each sign. But at the beginning of this year, with her retrograde cycle, she spent about 2 months in Pisces and 3 months in Aries, flirting with that Pisces-Aries axis of endings and beginnings, the way that Saturn and Neptune are about to do as well. And during her time in Pisces and Aries, she had several conjunctions with Saturn and Neptune, starting new cycles, right? And sextiles with Uranus and Pluto. And this week, she has been continuing the conversation. So on Monday, August 25th, she entered into the very heart-centered Leo. Love here is bold and courageous here. It's creative, it's playful, and perhaps even indulgent and romantic. She'll be here until September 19th, so whatever house Leo falls in for you is going to be extra in love, magnetism, and perhaps financially as well. She also will be in a trine with Saturn retrograde in Aries here. Since this 0 degrees is where we are individually and collectively being asked to build, I think, and since Venus danced here so long, that she's reminding Saturn of the values we want to carry forward, and reminding her of the creative, carefree, heart-centered world we can create. And she's reminding Saturn of that before he goes back into Pisces to close some things out for good on September 1st. On a more practical level, this could show up as commitments. Saturn is commitments or budgets. So think love and finances getting structure with this Venus trine Saturn retrograde. Tuesday, August 26th, we had Venus in Leo, sextile Uranus in Gemini, and trine Neptune in Aries. That Neptune retrograde in Aries could give us a little bit of some rose-colored glasses, or make it so we're not quite seeing things clearly. But with Saturn right there, it should keep us very well grounded. The sextile with Uranus and Gemini could bring something unexpected, an unexpected conversation, text message, letter, short trip, unexpected visit from sibling, neighbor, unexpected money or opportunities, or something unexpected in romance. Perhaps something unexpected with your children or your creativity. So that's that Uranus energy bringing that, with Uranus we always say expect the unexpected. So, but in a sextile with Venus, it's bringing something good and beautiful, hopefully, and related to love or finances. I'd love to hear how anything showed up for you. I will say on both Monday and Tuesday, and Wednesday as well, it has felt like a very, finances have actually been good this week. Romance and love has been good this week. Just showed up with like more job opportunities and things of that nature, getting calls for more jobs. It's been, I also launched my course, so that's in my accounting world, and my, what I do there. But then in my astrology world, I launched my course that I'm going to be doing. I'll talk about that at the end of the video. It's been a very good feeling week. And so Wednesday continued, Venus continued her conversations with all these planets. So Wednesday, Venus in Leo opposed Pluto in Aquarius. So oppositions are, usually a point of challenge or where we need to balance. And so this may have uncovered or created or could have been a catalyst for a transformation within Venus-related themes. So basically love, money, our values, our self-care. Venus is also how we care for ourselves. And since Pluto brings light to darkness and brings renewal through the death rebirth cycle, it's possible that something you need to let go of became clear. There also could have been like power or control dynamics at play in relationships, or the potential for deepened intimacy. So let me know how Wednesday played up, if any of this showed up for you. I would say for me, we did have more job things come through, and then just, deepened intimacy, I would say. It's been a very good week. Then yesterday, Thursday, August 28th, we had Uranus in Gemini sextiling Neptune retrograde in Aries. So this is kind of the end of the Venus conversation for the week. This Uranus and Gemini sextiling Neptune retrograde in Aries, this is one of those super duper rare conversations. And I know a lot of times we say things like that in astrology, and in reality, a lot of things that we call rare is like not exactly that rare. Like a Venus retrograde is rare because it only happens every 18 months, but it happens every 18 months. Looking at Uranus and Gemini sextiling Neptune in Aries, between 500 BC and 2500 AD, this has or will only happen 15 times, and only 5 times with Uranus direct and Neptune retrograde. So this is, I'm on astroseek.com now, and there's an aspect search engine. So I put in Uranus sextiling Neptune from August 500 BC to 2500, and it's Uranus in Gemini. So there's only 15 times, and the first was 769. Then we had this cycle between 940 and 942, and then the next cycle is here in 2025 through 2027, and then the next cycle won't be until 2197 to 2199. And then I would presume, based on this right here, that the next cycle after that would probably be another 1,000 years. So we're really seeding something here. I just wanted to show you that chart, show you how rare. Normally when you look at aspects, there's like especially if you're including the time frame from 500 BC to 2500, like the whole time that you can do this search on this website, there's pages and pages and pages of it. But there's only 15. And what I noted was that of those 15 times, only 5 times are with Uranus direct and Neptune retrograde. Also interesting to note that of those 15 times, 4 of them, like you saw, will be between now and June of 2027. So the next 5 will be in a relatively short time frame, and then about 150 years from now will happen 5 more times between 2197 and 2199. But like you saw, the cycle before that was in the years 940 to 942. So this hasn't happened in over 1,000 years. That's how rare this is. Then you add in the flavor of Saturn conjunct Neptune in Aries right now, and that's only happened 6 times. Let me show you that. So if we go back up here and go to Saturn conjunct Neptune in Aries, 6 times. Let me get all of this in the screen. Yeah, only 6 times. That is crazy. And none of them, if you'll notice, are in the same time frames as what we just saw with the Uranus and Gemini sextiling Neptune in Aries. None of the Saturn-Neptune Aries conjunctions have been in the same time frames except for now. So this is the only time between 500 BC to 2500 BC, or to 2500 AD, that Saturn and Neptune will be together in part of this conversation. And Saturn conjunct Neptune will only be exact once, rather than, this sextile, this Uranus-Gemini sextile. We've got 5 times for those interactions to happen between now and 2027. This Saturn-Neptune, although they will be close for quite a while, it's only happening once, that February 2026 will it be exact. So we're truly living in a time period that we have never been in before. And this is why I'm saying our focus as individuals and as a collective should be focused on this Aries seeding point. It's bigger than we realize, I think, and we really are who we've been waiting for. We were born to shape the world for the next who knows how long, potentially thousands of years. So we were born for this moment, and I think that's why we have this mini grand trine pointing to us in all this astrology, right? The last new moon, as I discussed, if you haven't watched that, was pointing us towards this. So I was thinking about running through the history and reading the history of the dates of the Uranus and Gemini sextile Neptune and Aries time frame, as well as the history of the Saturn-Neptune conjunction. But what I would recommend instead, because looking back that was a little bit boring, what I would suggest is just rewinding the video, screenshotting the dates that were up if you're interested, and looking up the history of what was going on with those time frames yourself. Overall, what we can see with the history of the Uranus and Gemini sextile Neptune and Aries. Neptune and Aries is kind of this spiritual aspect of different spirituality or religions kind of bubbling under the surface, making their way into like a lot of this history was how to bridge the spirituality and the religious movements with Aries, the leadership, and Uranus and Gemini. Uranus kind of like with that sextile was kind of breaking down of old structures and building new structures up, and kind of with Uranus and Gemini, Gemini is represented by the twins too. So there's like two paths, two choices. And in these historical time periods, you can kind of see where there are two time periods going on at the same time. Number one, some systems collapsing at the same time while others are rebuilding, or like trying to somehow combine the spiritual undertones that are going on with the structures that are going on, and being more open and allowing for more paths. So if you look at the history, you'll see that. And then kind of a similar theme going on with the Saturn Aries, Saturn and Neptune conjunct in Aries energy is, Saturn is the structures and Aries is the power, and Saturn is the power too. But then you have the Neptune, the very spiritual, the compassionate, the undertones of new mysticism or belief systems emerging, or trying to, losing faith basically in the political systems that are in power at the time, thus giving rise to these more religious or spiritual or mystical or esoteric undertones under the surface emerging, and this sextile really, and the Saturn Neptune conjunction really seem to be the seeding points of these larger themes playing out. So we are really in this giant seeding point for potentially, the next 1,000 years or so. So if it is something that you would like to, look at my dog stretching, if it is something that you would like to look at, I recommend going back, screenshotting the historical time frames there, and you can look up the history yourself rather than listening to me read it to you. Interesting to see how it's played out, right? Because everything's an echo. Everything's kind of just a spiral, and hopefully we are at a better level of understanding and a better level of knowing how we can utilize this energy to our advantage rather than just letting it pass us by. After looking at all this historical framework, we're clearly in a time of upheaval where old structures are crumbling to make way for the new, and new thought ideas and religious, spiritual, esoteric, mystical ideas are emerging. Although under the surface, I see two things: governments and science trying to control and dominate or diminish these spiritual awakenings, and science also proving them and proving what these mystics and ancient traditions have always known. Like there's this blend of science and mysticism right now, but also this hold these government institutions holding on to things that it's just a lot. It's too much. It's too much to talk about. So with Uranus and Gemini and Pluto and Aquarius, this is adding so much technology, communication, and out there with the air, Gemini and Aquarius, into the mix. It's mind-blowing. Like, what is going on right now with the old structures crumbling, potentially new structures emerging, all the spiritual awakenings that are happening, the everything going on with religious undertones. Like, there's just so much going on, and it's all kind of converging. It's all like converging into one, but we very much have, like I discussed, that Gemini, that dual framework, where I think people already are choosing, the paths of holding on to the structures that they're familiar with, kind of expanding their minds, holding on to or wanting to go down the routes of technology and merging ourselves with technology versus, I keep going back to this thought that only they consider 98% of our DNA junk DNA, and I just don't believe that's true. I believe we're in a time where science is going to prove and be able to teach us how to open up more of that, and it's a time of remembrance too. Like, looking at what was discovered under the pyramids and what was that being used for, the healing potentials or the energetic potentials of that free energy. Like, all this stuff is going on at this time. And I think that's where we're really being guided to focus on this Saturn-Neptune building point in Aries. So let me know if you would like. I know this was a lot, and it was a lot of reading. But let me know if you'd like me to do a whole episode on this mini grand trine and kind of map out clearly if there's any historical overlap in timelines, because we have the Pluto correspondences in here as well, which we haven't touched on. Both the trine to Neptune, or the trine to Uranus, as well as the sextile to Aries, to Neptune and Saturn. So there's a lot to look at and see if there's any overlap. I don't think there is from what I've looked at before, but I haven't really put the pen to the paper, so let me know if you want to do that. But either way, what we're living through and seeding right now is bigger than any of us can even imagine. I truly believe that. I truly believe that this is a time, like, what we're seeding, and the fact that we chose to come here at this time is incredible and mind-blowing, and we are the change makers. Let's choose wisely. Now for something lighter, on a more personal level, since that's where everything starts anyway, this Uranus and Gemini sextile Neptune in Aries. I see this potentially as psychic abilities coming online for us, perhaps. More possibilities of telepathy or channeling, or just communicating, more communicating with spirit, God, the universe, however you want to term it. But having and developing more of that personal relationship. I see that coming online with this sextile happening over the next couple years, but, starting right now. So maybe you have noticed that. And then in medical astrology, I just want to mention this. So Neptune, because I feel it's important, Neptune is associated with feet, the lymphatic system and the fluids of the body, our nerves and the brain, our subconscious, and the brain as the seat of dreams and psychic ability. Aries rules the head and brain. So combining these two, right, that's a big focus on the head and the nerves and psychic sensitivity and nervous system in general. And then Uranus rules the nervous system, nerves, and ankles. Also, the body's overall electrical system, including our cellular states and thus our immune system. So both of these are heavily tied to our immune system and our nervous system. And Gemini Also, it rules our arms. Gemini's the twins, right? So it rules the hands, feet, lungs, and our nervous system. So I think if we allow and support it, we're basically with this getting that DNA upgrade, getting an upgrade from the divine, but it might feel very destabilizing. I know for me, I definitely have had a lot of nervous energy in my head. Like, my head has felt really funny. And yeah, just I've definitely felt it in my body, and I have also been feeling that I really need to focus on my immune system and my lymphatic system in particular. And I think that's one thing that we're being guided to do as well. The other thing with this combination is really pay attention to your dreams. I know for me personally, my dreams have been wild, and a lot of revisiting and reworking through like past things. Like a lot of people showing up in my dreams from high school or just old scenarios, and a lot of combining the old with the new. And I think it's my subconscious trying to figure out what to let go of and what to move forward with. But so really pay attention to those, because I think there might be sudden insights and sparks of genius and creativity, especially in the areas where Gemini and Aries fall in your chart. That's where you might be having these sudden insights, or, even just more nervous tension in whatever areas of these, more anxiety in whatever areas these are. And Uranus is where we want to break out of the box. And in Gemini, there's many options to do so. And then with Neptune and Aries, this is creativity, compassion, love, disillusion, delusion, dreams in Aries, making it more personal and about you. So that was Monday through Thursday. Now, Friday and Saturday, today and tomorrow, there's really no major transits other than the moon. And the moon will be talking to all these outer planets in very beautiful conversations with sextiles and trines. So Friday and Saturday should feel mostly good, because moon is our emotions, right? And with these sextile and trines to these outer, more divine planets, we should be feeling pretty good. And then Sunday, August 31st, we are closing out the month with Mercury in Leo, trining Chiron in Aries. And side note, I think the timing of this is fascinating, that Chiron will be leaving Aries in 2026, retrograding back into Aries a little bit, and then staying in Taurus in 2027. So it is having a similar cycle with Saturn in Aries, and a similar cycle with these similar cycle of time frame of this Uranus sextile Neptune, right? That's happening 5 times between now and 2027. And Aries, Chiron in Aries is like finishing up the healing that it needs to do, finishing up our healing of our wounds related to how we show up in the world, how we relate to ourselves and where we've diminished ourselves, how we claim our I am and know who we truly are, will be happening at the same time. I think that's fascinating. So getting back to this. So Mercury in Leo aligns our heart and mind, and is maybe communicating some love to your wounded I am. I'm feeling that this may be a day of feeling seen and validated, woohoo, and loved, whether by others or just by yourself. And so then after that, it's a beautiful close to August, and then after that, we head off to September eclipse season. And like I said, hopefully my video for the first week of September, including the first eclipse, the full moon lunar eclipse, will happen. Hopefully I will get that out by Sunday. But thank you for joining. Leave a comment. Let me know how Venus has interacted with you earlier this week. If you're feeling the Saturn, or if you're feeling the Uranus-Neptune sextile, increased psychic awareness, increased sudden insights, dreams, visions, or just increased like electrical charge, nervousness, anxiety in your body, anything with your lymphatic system, immune system, let me know how it's all hitting you. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend with that Mercury in, or that, Mercury in Leo, trining Chiron in Aries. So have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you soon.